Welcome to the Miami Heat Zone podcast. We are pushing the 8K. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, and thank you for all the support. Today we have Nick Roloff from the Heat Report Chat Sports. Nick, just please let the people know before we begin, where can they find all your work?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. You can find me on YouTube at Heat Report and on Twitter, I'm Nick_Roloff. And excited for this Heat season. Excited to talk some Heat hoops with you, man.
So, listen, I honestly think that this Miami Heat team is going to be a lot better than what people give us credit for. I mean, think about it. We have almost 10 former first round picks, whether they're young, whether they're veterans now. So, what do you think about the Miami Heat, like, especially with them coming into this Eastern Conference where it's pretty wide open? You have the Boston Celtics where if Tatum rushes to come back, I don't think that's a good idea. You have Halliburton, like in the Pacers, he's out. You have the Knicks and the Cavs where they're always in the mix, but what have they really proven? So, you have Giannis who doesn't really want to be with the Bucks and arguably has his worst roster he's ever had. So how do you feel about the Miami Heat and this Eastern Conference?
Yeah, I definitely think the Heat can threaten for that top six position, which they have just eluded them over the past couple of years. They've been a consistent play-in team. It's been very frustrating as fans. Obviously, last season was very up and down with the Jimmy Butler saga, but even the years prior with Jimmy, it was always frustrating to have us landing in that 7 to 10 range because we knew we were better than that and we just put ourselves in tough positions. But this season, with an overhauled roster, I think, ironically enough, it might be their best chance to finish inside the top six. When you're looking at the tiers of Eastern Conference teams, I have a clear-cut top three in the East, in my opinion, where it's the Knicks, it's the Cavs, and it's the Orlando Magic with that improvement that they made this offseason with Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs coming back fully healthy at some point. So when I'm looking at the East, like with those injuries you mentioned with Halliburton, the Bucks roster going a little bit downhill. If the Heat are able to stay healthy, you get the contributions you expect from Norman Powell, an uptick in Nikola Jovic's play. Kelel Ware maybe starting to impact winning a little bit more. We know that's been a topic of conversation as of late. And Tyler Herro come back healthy. It's a team that is right there with like the Pistons, with the Hawks, who made improvements in that 4, 5, 6 range. I think that's very much on the table for this team, but health is obviously the most important thing. Obviously, not off to a good start with Herro missing time. Hopefully, he's back around mid-November. I know the target date might be the 17th against the Knicks or the 19th, of course, against Jimmy Butler and the Warriors. But if they can stay healthy and they can mesh, which I believe they will, I'm really high on Andrew Wiggins' fit this season. There's a legit chance they can be a playoff team instead of a play-in team for once.
Now you mentioned winning. So where do you stand with Khalil Ware? Spoa was very critical of him not impacting winning at all times. I honestly don't think it's as bad as what, he's really saying, only because we've wanted a center for so long. You can't continue to get out rebounded by 15 and 20 rebounds and think that you're going to win in any game. Like especially where you have so many bigs in this league where, they're switchable, they're movable. And obviously Bam's made it clear he doesn't want to play the five anymore. Yes, Jovic is great at the four, and I honestly think that he has improved with the small flashes that we've seen. But where do you stand on Khalil Ware? Like, do you think that it's really as bad as what people are saying, like Hassan Whiteside, or do you just think it's the Spo and the Miami Heat being hard on him? And before you answer, the only thing I'll say is that if you guys had such a problem with this in terms of where you're going to come out even in summer league and call him out, which the coaching staff rarely does, why didn't they put him in the trade then for Kevin Durant? If you guys have such a problem with him and you're going to come out and almost lower your value on a 21-year-old guy, 7-foot monster, potentially, why didn't they just trade him, or do you just think they're being hard on him?
Well, I'll talk about the second part real quick. I mean, I completely agree with you there. I was a large advocate. And for the people that also watch some of my stuff as long as yours, is like, well, no, like I was all in on trading for KD because of the same reasons we just talked about in the East being a weekend with the Bucks, Pacers, and Celtics being down. Like I thought if they added KD to a roster of Herro and Bam, they would have absolutely been a top 3 or 4 team in the East. So I was in favor. I wouldn't say like maybe in favor, maybe is the wrong way to put it, but I was very much open to trading Ware for KD even a couple months ago. I got a lot of heat for that, and respectfully so. But I do feel like the Heat fans, and this is something that I have kind of come to grips with, I think we get a little too attached to young and upcoming guys that we have. We did it with Herro early on, and we're doing it with Ware right now, to where we kind of put these guys on a pedestal. So when other fan bases hate on them, or even our own coaching staff gives constructive criticism, we take that a little too far and we don't like really come to realization what's going on. I don't think it's as bad as maybe people want to make it out to be with Kelel right now. I certainly see some of the issues of inconsistent effort, both offensively and defensively. And I've always been a little bit critical of his defensive positioning because he does have all of the physical tools and gifts to be a top three, top five rim protecting center in the NBA. But too many times he's just late on rotations and he's not in the right spot and he's not in the right athletic position because everything happens so quickly in this league. And we know this. It's like half second is all it takes for a shot to get blocked and it to get over the arms and onto the rim and for an easy shot. So it's so quick. Like he just needs to be locked in more, in my opinion. It's been something I've been hard on him for. I was very hard on him during the summer league, as of the Heat coaching staff was as well, because we saw even with Jaime Jaquez Jr. and he struggled in year two, but in his second summer league, he was dominating. He was so clearly the best player on the floor every single time he was on the floor, to where it's like, all right, we saw 2 or 3 games, we're done. Well, Ware's there, and you're sitting here like, okay, we thought we were going to get a massive step up with this kid. We didn't trade him for Katie. We didn't even make him in the conversation. And this guy is non existent in a summer league game. Like, that is a little bit concerning to me. I hope that he elevates his play and his mindset when the regular season comes around. But even then, like if it's going to be that different in the summer league in preseason compared to the regular season, well, that's where that Hassan Whiteside comparison you mentioned does come into play. Because it's like, well, yeah, at your best, you're awesome. And when you're giving 1,000%, but I'm going to need that every time. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play in the NBA, man. Like if you want a large second contract and not just a small, cheap one after this rookie deal you're currently on, you're going to need to show us that you're going to put in the work. And I believe he's done that off the court. We saw he's added 20 pounds of muscle. The Heat list him at 250 right now. He came in the league at 230. That's awesome. You love to see it. I just don't understand why we're not seeing it consistently on the court. So, yeah, it's a little bit concerning in my opinion. I'm not pressing the red panic button right now, but I hope that we see much better performances in the regular season.
No, but you're right, Nate, because it's like I don't understand how these guys, you are 1,000% correct. They're getting paid millions of dollars. Bro, me and you, we are loyal, diehard Miami Heat fans, and it almost feels as if we have more fire and passion than them. I just don't understand how, you're surrounded by like Alonzo Mourning, D Wade, Bam Adebayo, Pat, like you're surrounded by all these greats, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they're honestly just pushing for you, especially UD. They're all pushing for, Ware to be better. Bam was literally begging Spo for him to start last season during various points of the season. Like, we need Ware. And to be honest with you, if Ware or Jovic don't pan out, if they don't pop, this Miami Heat team could be in trouble. I mean, I really haven't seen anything from Jaime to say that, oh my God, like he's back to what he used to be. But I'm really counting on Ware and Jovic especially. So where do you stand with Jovic in the extension? I know he really hasn't played too many games, and a lot of people, they're nervous about that. But he's shown pretty solid flashes. But to me personally, there's no way that you're 6'11" and you're struggling to rebound and you're not helping Bam on the glass.
Yeah, I'm very high on Jovic, and I've loved this kid for a long time. I mean, I was a sicko. I was watching his Team Serbia games, not even just this year, but a couple of years ago when they were playing Team Canada and the FIBAs right around the Damian Lillard trade discussions. I mean, he was playing overseas, and I was watching them. So I've been high on this kid for a lot because you just can't find a guy with his frame and his size, with the abilities he has in terms of IQ, the shooting, the playmaking in transition. But you are right about the rebounding. That certainly needs to improve. And I think Eric Spoelstra actually said it yesterday following the preseason game that he challenged Jovic to become a better rebounder, more impactful on the glass before the second preseason game. And I liked how he responded. I know you can't take away a ton from the preseason because you aren't seeing everybody and not everyone is giving 1,000% effort, which we want to see. But they're not going to do it simply because of the nature. If it's the preseason, you're not going to go all out and put your body on the line like it is in game 45 of the regular season. But he rebounded really well last night. He had 8 boards alongside 9 points and 7 assists. You see the flashes in transition. The injury concerns are there, only playing in 46 games in each of the last 2 years. Now, 2 years ago, I cut him some slack because he started out in the G League. Jimmy Butler had to pine for him to get in the rotation and get called up from the G League. But last year, he was obviously supposed to be part of this rotation and be an impactful guy. Didn't really have the best start to the season. Gets moved to the bench. Plays way better coming off of the bench, by the way. His numbers, it's night and day. I think he averaged about 10 points, shot way more efficient from the field, was better in every stretch of the imagination. Unfortunate wrist injury that cost him the final 2 months of the regular season. I'll say this on Jovic and the injury concerns. They're not like injuries to where you wonder if it's going to stay around long term. They're like the weird freak, like the that hand injury, like that's not something. It's not like it's a constant knee injury or ankles or hamstrings. It's like weird injuries that have kept them out. So I'm going to choose to believe that he's not an injury prone player. Maybe that's a little bit of blind optimism for me, but I like the extension. I projected a 3-year, $45 million deal, so 15 per season. Ultimately comes in at 15.6 mil per year over 4 years. So he clearly value him very highly. I'm excited to see his growth, and I thought the contract was more than fair for both sides. And you hope that 2 years from now, we're just ending his first year of his extension, 3 years left, and we're like, holy crap, we have a major steal here because he broke out in his final year of his rookie contract here and then took even another step forward in that first year of his contract extension, which is next season. And then you have him for 3 years left at really cheap price points. So that's the hope here.
Now, where do you stand with the starting lineup? I know that this Miami Heat team wants to play fast, and that's great. Now, when they're healthy, so when Tyler Hero's back, like, what's your starting lineup going forward for this Miami Heat team?
Yeah, I think certainly with Tyler Hero out, Jovic should absolutely be a starter. I think it should be Davion, Powell, Wiggins, Jovic, and Bam, just because without Hero in the lineup, you're going to need way more on ball creation and more spacing. So if you start Ware in that group, you just are very limited. Like, I would also be concerned in terms of who is going to play make. Like, you want Ware and Bam to play together long term, obviously, but in the short term, you're going to need someone to get them opportunities. Where in the pick and roll, Bam in the pick and pop game. Would you trust Davion Mitchell to do that? He's awesome. I love Davion, but I don't think we can lean on him to be your primary initiator and ball handler. You can do that a little bit with Jovic. Is it going to be pretty all the time? No, but you put Jovic in that starting group with Hero out of the lineup, Davion, Powell, and Jovic. Like, and really, you can look at all five of those guys on the floor, and all five of them can bring it up. And I think that's something we're going to see with that lineup that I think does start the year. And that's what I would do is that they get to stop defensively. Whoever gets the board, just go. And we talk about this Heat pace improving. We hope that's the case. They've had great pace in the first 2 preseason games. We'll see if it holds up and continues here. But with that lineup starting, it's not obviously going to be on the floor for all 48 minutes a night, but you'll be able to play much quicker with that lineup because every single person can handle the ball. You get Ware on a rebound, you have to outlet the ball and then go. So a little bit different there. When Hero returns, I think there's more of a conversation of maybe plugging Ware back into that starting lineup, but you also have to see how the first month of the season plays out. If Jovic is taking that step forward that we project and hope he does, well, then when Hero returns, you just move Davion to the bench, have him come off the bench as that point of attack defender, change a pace guard, and you let that offensive lineup just get off to hot starts. So I feel like Jovic should be the starter for the entire year, but if they don't get off to the best start and they want to switch things up when Hero returns in mid to late November, that's maybe where I could see Ware going into it. But based off what Spo says to the media, it sounds like Jovic is his fifth starter and is going to be that starter for the entire year.
Yeah, my thing is just that I need to see like an offense that has improved. We've had a terrible offense for the past, honestly, 4 to 5 years. Even when Jimmy was here, we're blowing fourth quarter leads. We're going 2 and 3 minutes without scoring in the fourth quarter. We have the quote unquote like third quarter. Like it's just there's a lot of different things that this Miami Heat team offensively has struggled with, and that's really what I want to see. Now with Tyler Hero being injured, and of course with all the contract extensions and everything like that, where do you think Tyler Hero stands with that? Because I think it's a little bit less now because he really only had one healthy season, and that's last year and his first year. And other than that, there's really nothing else to really go off of. So where do you stand with that contract extension, and especially with this team moving forward in the future?
Yeah, we'll ultimately see if he gets signed to an extension. They have until October 20th to come to one, and then it gets tabled for a future date. I ultimately don't think they come to one. Now, I don't know this. I'm not going to claim to have sources. This is my projection, but I don't think they get one done. And I don't think that's the bad decision here by Miami either. I hate to draw comparison, and for all my Dolphins and Heat fans down in the comments, like, the Tua situation when Miami is so similar to me. Like, and I made the mistake with the Dolphins. Like, I believe that after the 2023 season, Tua plays all 17 games, Pro Bowl quarterback, led the league in passing yards. They make the playoffs, win double digit games. Okay, extend them because it's only going to get better and it's only going to get more pricey for you. Okay, we've seen that's now a mistake over for the Miami Dolphins. With the Heat, I don't want them to make the same mistake. So I am going to hold off on the Hero extension. I'm fine if they want to come to an agreement right now on 40 mil per season. I look at Brandon Ingram's contract. He's got 3 years, $120 million on that extension he signed in Toronto. It's paid 38 this year, 40 next year, and 42 in his final year. If the Heat want to do that with Hero, I would be more than open to sign the Hero that extension right now. But if Tyler wants to get the max, I am not giving that to him right now. I need to see another year where he can do what he did last season efficiently. I need to see a better playoff performance. And I would also like to see him stay healthy. Unfortunately for him, he's off to a bad start on that last part because he's going to miss already at least 10 to 15 games. And you think of Heat fans, I know there were some concerns. Hey, if you don't extend him, what if he has an all NBA season? Which wasn't the craziest thing in the world, by the way, to project that potentially because of the Halliburton Tatum injuries. You get one more injury, and it's like, wow, Hero puts up 28 a game on efficient shooting, and the Heat make the playoffs. That's an all NBA season. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to have 65 games played to be qualified for that. And that pretty much is almost impossible already with Hero missing the first month of the season. He'd have to play in almost every single game the rest of the year, which likely will not happen. So I'm fine waiting. I think that's the smart thing here. But if they could come to an agreement on 40 AAV over 3 seasons, I'd be okay by doing that because I do think that is kind of where he stands in terms of NBA value.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for coming on the show. But before you leave, please let the people know again, where can they find you?
Yeah, one more time on the Heat Report by Chat Sports and on Twitter, Nick_Roloff, just like Martel here, very passionate about the Miami Heat. We all are, and love to see you continuing to grow as well. Love you having me on the show. It's always a blast when we get together and talk some Heat basketball.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming on the show, guys. Make sure that you guys head over to his platform, like, share, comment, subscribe, and thank you guys for all the support.